G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a game from the Korean server. It is your wonderful host Duckville here. I'm gonna actually be away this weekend, so I'm not gonna get too much casting done. So before I go away, I'm actually going up to Queensland, to Brisbane in particular in Queensland, for those of you who are in the Southeast Asia region, or perhaps even in the Australia region. I am going to be going up to a little tournament up there and doing a bit of casting there. It will probably be streamed, I understand, but I'll tweet and Facebook and all that sort of cool stuff once I know a little bit more and I'm up there. Speaking of the Australia region, we're going to watch a couple of beautiful, very talented Australian players here, starting up at the top right hand side of Daybreak. As I said, this is on the Korean server, but these guys are way up in the Masters level over on Korea. It is what looks to be Double Rainbow, but it is actually Team Sequential SQL, their player Ninja. And we're going to be calling him Ninja, not Double Rainbow, because Double Rainbow is going to get ridiculously crazy to say in big battles and that sort of thing. His opponent is going to be in the blue, the Protoss down to the side. This is Team Immunity's Yang. He's going to be starting out here, and it looks as if he is going to go for a very standard Forge Fast Expand here. Love this map, of course, as you would all know. Beautiful map for a bit of macro play, and of course in the past we've always seen some really good games on this map. Of course, if you look back through my channel, I think quite a lot of the very grand, very epic sort of games are actually from this particular map in particular, because just because of the fact that it does promote a lot of macro play. You got a very easy third base for virtually all of the races. Can have a good time getting a third base. The fourth base is where it does get a little bit more difficult to take on and sort of hold it down, and obviously that means that you're getting to a later stage. When you get to the fifth base, that's when things just start to get crazy, because of course that's either when a Zerg is in huge macro mode and things just start to get very crazy at that point, or of course you're in a very late game TVT or a PvP. PvP? Did I just say PvP? I don't think you will ever see a PvP get to 5 bases. If someone has, send me the replay, I'll cast it. I don't care if you're in Bronze League. Yeah, this is just a really good map. So, just starting out here, Yang did put a pylon down to block the natural expansion, which has now since been cancelled, which is a very cool tactic. I like to do that myself. Just speaking of the talent of these players, of course, recently I did a cast of one of the other players from Team Immunity's Mafia, taking on Marine King Prime, and then actually doing a fantastic job against Marine King. And so of course there are some really good players down here in the C region, in Australia in particular, Australia and New Zealand. We've got some really good players. So and of course Ninja, I've been informed, has actually beaten Nest-T recently on the Korean ladder. So this is the type of quality which we're going to see here from Ninja, and of course Yang, to be facing against him, has his own spectacular talent as well, and we'll find out what he's going to do very soon, because of course we're at that stage where Protoss has gotten the natural expansion up. The cybernetic score is just under halfway done, and once that's finished we'll probably be able to see what Yang is going to go for. Meanwhile, for Ninja, he's gone for that very standard, I suppose standard these days, that no gas double expand, of course, picking up this space down to the side first instead of getting this one because of that very obnoxious pylon block from Yang. But he is still continuing to drone up, of course, as we can see on the harvested tab up there at 27. He's just a little bit behind where Yang is at the moment, but of course Yang has the bonus of that his Chrono Boost is going to help him out a little bit earlier at the start, and depending on where he puts the Chrono Boost from now on, it'll sort of determine where his probe count goes from now. And as we saw just before, it looks as if Yang is going to be chronoing out that Stalker first. He's also got a little bit of boost on the Warp Gate tech, but now is where Ninja will start kicking in. As we can see, 3 drones on the way. He is going to need to put a, perhaps, depending on how far Yang wants to push with this Stalker and any further units that he creates. In fact, he is getting a second Stalker. We may need to see perhaps a Spine Crawler at one of the bases, whether it be the third or the natural expand up here. We may need to see just a spine crawler just to make sure that he's okay, but it really depends on how Ninja decides to defend against this. A lot like when Terran players would use a couple of Hellions to do some pressure. You can either decide to use one spine crawler, keep your queens very healthy and very active, and obviously keep a little bit more energy in there with them because they may need to use a transfuse, or you can put down a spine crawler, or you can go up to a few lings. And it looks as if a few lings have been produced. Very standard here from Ninja. He is going to see that Yang has placed down that proxy pylon here. Meanwhile, back inside the natural, the queen is actually under attack here, and Ninja may lose her. He's being very careful here, very diligent with those drones, trying to surround both the stalkers. Does get one. He's going to get an easy kill on that first stalker here, but Yang will escape with one of them. This guy has not actually taken any damage at all. Meanwhile, that probe from Yang does look like it's going to escape just in time. The probe gets home and he's got a story to tell his children, I tell you what. But the Stalker just poking out, just putting a little bit of pressure on. He has forced a couple of extra lings here. I think we've got around about 6 on the map. Yes, we do. Sitting at 51 drones at the moment for Ninja. So he's just sort of slowed down just for a tiny bit here. And in fact, he's cranked out a few roaches, and as well as that, he's got some extra lings coming. So we may see a bit of pressure from him right at the start, just wanting to perhaps get across the map and make sure that his opponent does not take this third base too easily, because that can be that sort of little bit of pressure can be a precursor to some early third base tactics from the Protoss player. But Yang just sticking with his upgrades for the moment. We've got +1. Wow, 12 drones just popped out for Ninja. But +1 to the armor is just on the way now for Yang, so he's going to have nice little upgrades on all of these units here. And I love that he's going to wall off this position here. I think this is a real requirement on this map. You either need to make sure that you've got a really heavy wall at this third base, or you need to make sure that this position here is really well fortified, because as we can see, when if the Zerg decides that they want to, have some fun, they can send out a lot of lings, a lot of roaches. You see that Stefano style with that third base bust that comes out from Zergs quite a lot these days. And it can be something very annoying to contend with on this map, because you have this this initial opening here at the front of the natural expansion, or you've got a bigger one up to the side of the third. So it's obviously very a stylistic choice how you decide to do it, but I would really recommend, especially if you're having a little bit of trouble, whack down a little bit of a wall here. Put a cannon down, put maybe 2. You can full wall it if you need to, but obviously that is all up to you. So behind that little bit of pressure that Ninja was going to push in on this third base here, he's got up quite a lot of drones. We can see that Yang is just about to scout through and see exactly what tech is happening here for Ninja, and he's going to see that there's quite a lot of drones in here. We've got the macro hatch just being powered out now as well. That's just about to complete. The Roach Warren is not pulsating at all. Those roaches now have their move speed, as we can see, trolling along the map there. They're just cleaning out the watchtowers, and now Yang is going to perhaps get a little bit more defensive in his position here, because yeah, there he goes, full walling off that. He's taken the third, and this is a point where a Protoss, you have to be very diligent with how you defend with your force fields and your positioning of the units. As we can see here, quite a lot of stalkers already for Yang. He's got a few force fields here as well. It looks as if he may try and catch up. No, he's not. He's just going to hang back. But the Immortal in that mix there is quite a helpful unit as well. But there is an attack right at the front. Ninja trying to push in here. He does have to take down the cannon if he wants to get any further. He does get rid of it. Yang responding by sending down a couple of these units. Meanwhile, back up with the third, we've got more attacks going on. Nice little force fields to segment some of those units here. The little force from Yang has actually pulled back accidentally, I think. But the roaches of Ninja are actually not being targeted down on the units, and more force fields going down for Yang. So he's doing a good job of really just separating, really compartmentalizing. I'm pretty sure that's a word. If it's not, it is now. But he's really sort of just segmented all of the roaches there and made it really easy for himself to deal with that attack. He doesn't have blink, so he can't use any blink micro, which does make it a lot easier. But with those force fields, he was really able to cut down the roaches that were getting in the field of fire. So now behind that attack, Ninja, I was about to call him Double Rainbow, we're not going there today, folks, has gotten up his 4th base. We just saw on the production tab he had 19 drones in construction. He's about to pull the worker count up to, there it is, 81 drones now. He's going to be sitting in a very handsome place in regards to his economy. As we can see, he's going to get the extractors down at this 4th base. He may even look to perhaps put down the 5th. It'll sort of depend on whether he's looking to take that sort of a little bit of a semi-greedy risk. There he goes, he does put it down, alright, so he is going to take that little bit of a risk. Of course, it is a little bit more exposed because there is much more surface area for a Protoss to attack into, but once this base is established, if he can get the extractors up, then he's on 5 bases, all of them with gas, and he'll be in a beautiful position to commence the fun with Hive Tech. And just looking at what Yang is up to back at his base, we finished off a couple of these upgrades here. We're up to 1-1 on the attack and the armor upgrades for those ground units. We got the robotics bay just finishing up now. He's even also going to take his 4th base. Yang just trying to keep up in the macro stakes here. He's not going to bother with putting any pressure on our Zerg compatriot over here, but he is going to be able to see that the Spire Tech is on the way. And obviously, with the addition of the infestation pit over here, that means that the broodlords are not too far away, not particularly too far, and we'll see how Yang is going to deal with that, because of course that's when things can get a little bit messy depending on how you play as a Protoss and how your opponent plays as the Zerg, because of course if multiple attacks can start occurring, then in fact from both races, I think both races can really benefit from doing multi-pronged attacks, whether it be from a Protoss dropping in a Warp Prism saying hello with some DTs and Zealots inside the main trying to kill off some of that tech, or whether it be the Zerg doing perhaps, you know, some sending over a few Overlords with a few Lings and Roaches dropping in the main while attacking into a middle position like this. It can really tax your opponent's APM, and wow, look at that. Ninja going for quite a lot of spine crawlers here. He obviously picked up quite a lot of drones, has decided to wall up. This is a very common tactic now from Zerg players. Quite a while ago we would rarely see players pick up this many spine crawlers, but starting with that advent in I think GSL, some of the GSL players really started that off when players like Nest T would just put down a 4th base, and then along with that they'd pick up another, you know, 20 spine crawlers. But the additional benefit of having these spine crawlers available along with some good creep spread, which unfortunately hasn't been too spectacular. He's doing an okay job, but Ninja hasn't pushed this out too far just yet. But the thing is, you can use the spine crawlers to boost your attack power when you actually move out to try and take care of this big Protoss death ball with your broodlords and your infestors and that sort of thing. As we can see, Ninja just starting to get that infestor count up now. You can actually use the spine crawlers as a very basic defense, and of course the spine crawlers can't be vortexed. Like, I mean, you can put a vortex over them, but it won't actually do anything. So that's one thing to consider at this sort of mid to late game stage of the game. And I really like how Yang has put down quite a few pylons around the map, just to make sure that he has vision around the map to see any possible counterattacks, along with the ability to warp in where he needs to. Now it looks as if it looks like Ninja is just sacrificing a few of these units here. He needs a little bit more supply so he can bring in some broodlords, which I am sure will be on the way in just a moment. Yes, here they come. We've even got a second Spire. 12 Corruptors are on the way. A Warp Prism now hanging, just hanging up the top here. He's probably going to try and drop in inside the main base. As we mentioned, those multi-pronged attacks. Here comes that Prism. Now just moving inside. He's going to be able to get a few of these Zealots out and then maybe warp in a few more. I'm hoping that's the plan of attack here from Yang. There is a couple of Corruptors that are going to cause some trouble here for that Warp Prism, and the Roach is responding very quickly. Not really going to get too much damage done here, but Yang will be able to see that the second Spire is there, and that's going to really signal that there is going to be quite a lot of damage done. And as we can see, there was a separate attack down at the 4th base of Ninja with this this big Stalker force. Of course, a couple of these extra units were there as well. Yang really starting to power up his forces. He's got +2 on his weapons. We'll probably see him get some extra action on that. Yes, we will. +3 is on the way. The Observer movement, love to see that, is is also just about to complete. That's going to help him out with getting some good vision on the map. There is a second warp prism just hanging down the bottom side of the map. This is going to go across to try and attack into this 4th base, but I don't know what sort of damage that's going to do. What he may be able to do is perhaps head up to this base just at the side, the 3rd over here, and if he can get across to that, he may be able to get some really good damage done. There are 2 Templar in here, along with a couple of Zealots as well, and he is going to drop them in, but here he goes with these Storm drops. How well is this going to work? The Queen spots it. Is he going to get them out in time? There he goes, putting down a feedback, and then 1 Storm. Do we have a second? No, we don't. Unfortunately, the Templar going down. We got a few, were any of the drones killed? Yes, we did get quite a few of the drones down there, and also, of course, that one Infestor, which did not have a good time, exploiting a bit of, sort of that, what's that called? Self-combustion thing, whatever it's called, I don't know. But there is another attack inside the main. Yang really putting on the pressure here with these multiple attacks. A couple of these Zealots not having a good time, getting hugged by those Zerglings, charging across to the Greater Spire. They're going to try and take down both of these spies here. If they can get both, that would be absolutely perfect here for Yang. What that'll do is that'll stop the Broodlord production, which of course is one of the big key feature of late game Zerg versus Protoss. And here we go, the Mothership now moving in, providing a bit of a cloak cover here. Yang blinking in, actually catching these Infestors off guard. Only getting 1 or maybe 2 of the fungal growths down. The Spine Crawler wall here is going to put on a lot of damage here, but it looks as if Yang is still going to be able to get a little bit of damage done. I think he won't have enough to actually push in and take a win here, but he's going to clear out some of these Spine Crawlers, which is really going to help you. Of course, he's probably looking at this thinking, what is he doing? Because, of course, a Protoss army does take quite a lot to rebuild, but he's got a lot back at home. We've got some extra Templar here. He can move to a more Archon Stalker based force. Of course, he did keep the Mothership alive, which is always good to see, and he can really start moving into that late game style of Protoss now that a few of those sort of some of those earlier style units, like a few of the Immortals and some of the Zealots, some of these Sentries are also gone now. But what he does have is a lot of power here, and we'll see how he's going to utilize that power. Some more Stalkers just warping in. He's now he's got the 5th base up towards the top here, just transferring a couple of the probes over. This is going to give him a really good income to actually just really supplement. We'd love to see perhaps a second robotics. Is there already? He's only got 1 at the moment. No, we've only got 1, but I suppose it really depends on how you want to play it. But a second one might help him out a little bit in just getting that remax as needed. But of course, late game we do see a lot of the very heavy Archon Stalker and then the Mothership-based armies, which are the one big thing that can really scare a Zerg, even when they've got these big Broodlord armies. And we've got a lot of Roaches underneath here for Ninja as well. He's got 3-2 on his upgrades. The Broodlords have only the +1 to their attack, but now they are about to get that +2 as well, which is really going to be nice for them. I think one big thing here is that there are only 2 Infestors on the map here for Ninja. He's got 5, a couple more just popped into existence, but now losing 2 of those straight away. Yang doing an offensive blink. Beautiful stuff there from him. He's now just moving through. I think he needs to be very careful. This is a very clumped up section of the map, and there are so many Spine Crawlers here. As you can see, the Spine Crawlers providing so much static defense here, and that is really going to boost up the attack of the defense, of Ninja. And now he does actually force Yang to back out for the moment. The Vortex just finishing up. A couple of Broodlords and some Roaches in there, but not going to be too much of an issue here. So just having a look at what is going on in the economy here for these players. Ninja now with no main, and in fact he's actually going to lose quite a lot of the tech here. Beautiful Warp Prism attack here from Yang. He's actually still got 1 Zealot just hanging out inside. He's commanding the battle from afar, but it looks as if the Greater Spire does go down. Infestation Pit is also lost. The Hive is also lost. Yang doing a fantastic job of sniping down that tech. This is what you really want to do, as I said, in late game at this sort of stage. You want to really rely on being able to limit the Zerg's production capabilities, especially with that very high tech. And now Ninja is in a very unfortunate position where, as we can see, he's going to need to get his lair going again. He was quick enough to get a couple of spires building. As you can see, there are 2 on the production tab. I'm not exactly sure where they are, but we do have an attack here at the 4th base, and Yang is really starting to take command here. He's got a few more Archons in the mix doing their big damage. 47 biological splash damage, which is pretty much damage to every single unit the Zerg has, and looks as if he's just trying to push in here, get some distraction going on. I'm not sure how much that's actually going to achieve just for the moment, but what he's going to look for is the establishment of this 6 base just up to the top, and once he has that, then he's going to be able to just really bide his time, make sure all the upgrades are completed. We'll probably see +3 researching very soon, along with shields, perhaps even some of these later stage units, and it looks as if the Warp Prism is back for more fun. The spawning pool off the creep is going to be a very quick target to take down here. There are no DTs, so while Yang has got a lot of power in those Zealots, of course, with their +3, he doesn't have that extra little boost, but I mean, it's very dependent on how you want to play. Of course, he is really just now getting quite a lot of Archons, so he's going to be having a little bit more sort of consideration with his gas. He wants to sort of think about that a little bit more, as we can see, warping in a lot more of these Templar, going to add those Archons to the mix, and now with this 6 base operational, things are going to start looking very, very nice here for Yang. He's going to have to take down this 6th of Ninja very soon if he wants to make sure that he's keeping a check on what the Zerg is up to, but Ninja just, I think, he's, with the loss of a lot of that tech there, that's quite unfortunate for him, but now he's going to have to deal with this big cotton ball force that's now pushing down the side. They've got the cover of the mothership. She's got at least 1 vortex available. By the time the battle commences, she may have a second, and Ninja doing the right thing here, really spreading out these Broodlords to make sure that they don't all get hit by a vortex, but he's going to have to be very careful about how he engages, and it looks as if Yang is actually going to head down to the southern side of the map. He knows that this base is here. There is a lot of creep that's spread out. The Stalker's going to get there first and spot that the hatchery is just about to complete. He's going to say no to hatcheries on this side of the map. Takes that one down. We'll probably maybe see him head down towards this one as well, and I think that Ninja is going to have to reposition just about everything. The Infestors waddling their way down to that base. The Broodlords slowly just heading down there as well. The Spine Crawlers also reburrowing in position, but the everything, of course, of this late game Zerg army has a lot of mobility issue, and now with the mothership in the mix, he's going to be able to put down the Vortex. Does catch a couple of the Corruptors, a couple of the Infestors as well. Actually getting some of the extra Infestors at the back, that could really cost Ninja this base, if not the game. We'll have to see the cotton balls jumping inside the Vortex. Here we go with the big splash. There it is, the Storm also going on top as well, and I think there come the Infestors, way too late to that party. They got caught inside that Vortex. This 4th base will go down for Ninja, and in fact the Warp Prism is heading back inside Yang on top of every single thing that he's doing here. Beautiful drop inside the main with all of those Zealots. They're going to do quite a lot of damage. Going to pick up some of the tech that's here, well, some of the tech that's left in here perhaps, but the Roach is going to have something to say about that. Meanwhile, just back down at the southern side of the map, the Protoss force now just repositioning itself. We've got a whole bunch of Stargates that are being created, along with these 5 here. We've also got that main one inside the main base, I suppose, and he's cranking out quite a lot of these the Void Rays, which of course the big chandeliers in the sky with their laser beams going to come to this this party, and of course they'll be able to deal with these Spine Crawlers with ease. Not only that, but also the Broodlords as well. And then with their +1 to air weapons, they're going to have a little bit of an easier time doing that damage as well. The Corruptor's doing a fantastic job sniping down that mothership along with the last remaining Colossus. And I think Yang is just sort of holding up Ninja at this moment here. He's just sort of putting the attack to him, just sort of saying, all right, buddy, just hang back a little bit. I'm just, you know, I'm not doing anything sus at all. I'm not remaxing with a whole bunch of these Archons. We're not remaxing with the Void Rays as well, not getting any upgrades or anything like that. You just hang tight for a minute, and he's going to come back with a very, very scary army. Of course, the Void Rays, one of those things late game where you just sort of say to yourself, look, all right, we're done here. This is not going to happen. And really interested to see how this goes here. I'm not sure if Ninja is going to have any response to this. Of course, late game when you're dealing with a big Void Ray based army, you want to have quite a lot of fungals available. If you can put a good fungal down, you can then use your Corruptors with their corruption ability and some focus fire, and you may be able to take that down. But then, of course, the Protoss is going to have a good time of remaxing with the those other powerful units, such as the Archons with the Stalkers, and as we can see, he's just coming down here to take down this base. No problems at all, says Yang. The fourth does go down again. I think that's actually the fourth time that that's gone down, so it looks as if it looks as if Ninja is not having a fun time at all. He does have quite a lot of these Infestors out. We've still got this big Infestor, Broodlord, and Corruptor army. It's still quite potent if used in the correct way, and if he engages in the correct position. Of course, he's really going to want to engage around these spine crawlers, because if those are not part of the battle, then I think that there is no way that he is going to be able to succeed in any sort of attack, in any sort of defensive play here. But Yang still getting all of those Void Rays out. He's currently sitting at a total of 15. There are a few more on the way. We've got 2 War Prisms on the map, and as you can see, doing a bit of work themselves, dropping in some more Zealots inside the main, taking care of these hatcheries. He's gonna even pick some of these up. I really like that. What the War Prism doesn't like is being shot down by a whole bunch of Corruptors, but does go down, which is quite unfortunate, but not too much of a problem here. I mean, Yang is already in such a powerful position right here. It looks as if some of these spines are repositioning themselves to try and get down to this southern base. That second War Prism is now down here, getting some Zealot fun time going on as well. A Fungal goes down. Not going to stop these Zealots. They're going to power on through, trying to take down this hatchery before they get taken down by all these spine crawlers that are just coming over to watch the action over here. But looks as if Yang is also taking a 7th base. Things are getting absolutely crazy. You don't often see that on this particular map, particularly that one player has actually taken both of these middle expansions, but Yang is in such a good position right now. I'm sort of hesitant to see what this next battle is going to look like with all of these Void Rays here, +2 to shields, +1 to weapons, about to be +2 to their weapons, and they are just going to tear absolute shreds through everything that Ninja has here. I mean, he does have these Fungals, which are going to be quite helpful, as I mentioned, doing that extra damage to armored, but I just don't think it's just not going to be enough. I mean, there are 10 Corruptors on the map, which is nowhere near enough that you would need to actually deal with all of these Void Rays, unless everything was clumped up completely and you could just fungal growth them down. And as we said, even then, the Remax from Yang is going to be swift, it's going to be fast. We've got at least, I would say, I don't know, we're looking at something like around about 20, almost 30 gateways here, and he's just going to be able to just do whatever he wants. Picking up a couple of Zealots, going to drop inside the main yet again. Going to be able to take down this Roach Warren if he chooses to. What he is going to do is just put more pressure on, and as we said, this is that late game stage where the Zerg army is quite slow. These Broodlords are not going to be able to get over here to defend in time, so what Ninja is going to do is send these Roaches over. So we're sort of just waiting for the end here. I think Yang is just making sure that he's got enough of these Void Rays. Of course, he's sitting on a total of 33 of them at the moment. Hands up if you think that's enough. I think that's certainly going to be enough, which he's actually going to kill off some of these probes. I mean, we're at the late game stage. He's down to 69 probes, no giggling people. Just freeing up a little bit of supply so he can crank out just a few more of the Void Rays, or in fact, as we can see here, it's actually going to be a Zealot attack down at the bottom right-hand side, just really occupying Ninja's time here, and he's actually going to snipe down that hatch, which is virtually going to signal that the game is over, because without that base here, Ninja is currently sitting on this base in the middle, which is the only one mining. We're going to have the longest inspire from here. The drones have had enough. They're going to try and take down some of these Zealots as well. We're going to try and get that hatchery up and running again. But let's just have a look at the vision. Yeah, Ninja actually has no idea that those extra Stargates are there, not to mention he has no clue that these Void Rays are on the way. But this late game Void Ray army, the Death March of the Chandeliers, is going to be commencing very soon. In fact, to add insult to injury, Yang is now pushing out a carrier as well. These guys, of course, the supreme late game unit for the Protoss arsenal, but in this particular circumstance, Yang has decided to go with the other route, and of course, it looks as if, wow, I don't know if that was the best idea. He's going to morph in another Broodlord, but the thing that he's going to have to deal with very soon involves anti-air, and with only, how many Corruptors have we got on the map? We got 1. Hands up, who thinks that 1 Corruptor is going to be able to take out all of these? I don't really think so. So Yang, we're going to get started soon, no doubt about that. He's going to have to deal with all of these Broodlords just sweeping across the map. They're deciding to drop down their babies on this Nexus. It's going to take that out very quickly. 18 Broodlords, of course. They do have +2 to their weapons. They are going to get +3 in just a second. But here comes the Void Ray army. Yang splitting everything up. I was very intrigued to see if he is going to keep all of these guys spread. We don't have them in a separate group, but I mean, there's 40 of them. They are going to stay clumped up for the moment, and here we go. Yes, he is, splitting them up. Beautiful, love to see that. Ninja is going to see this, and he's going to think, oh my, I am about to die the most terrible death you can ever face. And here we go, Yang splitting up the Void Rays a little bit more there. Loving that particular tactic of his play here. He's just breezing forwards here. There's that fungal growth going off on a big pack of the Void Rays, and in fact some of them at the front as well. We can see that they have taken quite a bit of damage here, but the infested Terrans popping out. These beach ball eggs are not going to hatch anything too useful to deal with all of these Void Rays. The +3 on their weapons is complete. There is a carrier at the back, and here we go. The end is nigh for Ninja. More fungal growth going down. You got to hand it to him. I mean, he is dealing with quite a lot of these Void Rays. Some of them really just going down now. We've got a total of Void Rays now down to 19 from what was previously 40+. But I mean, the fungal growth, the energy is all but done. In fact, yes, it is all done now. The Void Rays just cleaning up the rest of this army, and this game is certainly over. Ninja's trying to retreat with the Broodlords, but you can't run from the Void Rays because they will follow you everywhere and beam at the same time they are following you, which is very weird. But here we go. He's got the carrier inside this big mix here, and that is going to be the end of it. So great stuff from Yang here. He's also got some zealots in this army. I'm not sure what these guys are going to have to do against all of these Broodlords, but quite a few Corruptors popping out. But they're not going to be anything to deal with this big Void Ray army, and the carrier, of course, as well. But as I said, great play from Yang, doing a lot of multiple harassments on the map. Once he established his third base and got control, he was able to really keep his economy going, get that big sort of Protoss army up and ready to go. Took his fourth base very quickly, and then was able to finish off Ninja in style. As we can see, the GG there from Ninja, and out he goes. So really cool game here from these two local players from the Australian region. Please be sure to jump on and say hello on Twitter, and also jump on the streams for these players. These guys are really good to watch, of course, and you can see them generally in the afternoons, local Australian time, I believe. Which is, of course, late night over in America or Canada, but it's definitely worth it. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time.